You're at a party, social gathering, business dinner, and you hear a bunch of wine lingo going around. What amazing cherry aromas, or there's a great bouquet in this glass, or wow, this wine is so complex. And you wondered, what does this mean? Well, stay tuned because we are on a mission to help you not only understand the terminology around wine and tasting it, but also to help you be able to use it. Hi there. I'm Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world discovering wild and scarce wines to bring to the US for consumers and businesses alike. This video is our second that defines wine terms to give you more confidence when wine tasting. So to recap, if you missed our first video, which means you might want to subscribe here on YouTube or to our newsletter on verovino.com so you don't miss any more interesting content. But we previously covered common and mystifying wine terms that you might come across when talking about wine. And now we've got level 2 for you to build upon the previously defined basics of balance and harmony. Let's dive in. Aromas. Aromas are the individual scents or smells that can be detected in a wine. These are often described as using words like cherries or herbaceous notes, and they are usually divided into 3 macro categories: primary, secondary, and tertiary. These categories are based more or less upon where the aroma originates, such as the fruit itself, the aging processes. Let's break each one down. Primary aromas derive directly from the grape itself, such as the chemical and biological compounds found within the fruit. These are typical fresh fruity, floral, and herbaceous notes, but they can also be things like black pepper or wet stones. Wines like Sauvignon Blancs usually have a lot of fruity and herbaceous aromas. Secondary aromas can come from winemaking processes that occur after fermentation, like, for example, aging on the lees, extra skin contact, or malolactic conversion. Examples will include toasted bread, butter, coconut, vanilla, or even sometimes coffee. A good traditional method wine will have lots of secondary aromas. Tertiary aromas are developed through extended aging and are often characterized by deeper scents like tobacco, earth, dried fruits, and nuts. You can think of the leather and truffles that will come out in an aged Barolo. Aromatic. Aromatic is used to describe a specific category of grapes known as aromatic varieties. These grapes have distinctive flavors and aromas that are noticeable in grapes on the vine and in the finished wine. It's also used for grapes that have a distinctive primary aroma, like a Riesling or a semi-aromatic grape like Sauvignon Blanc. For a classic aromatic wine, try a Moscato d'Asti or a Brocchetto di Acqui, both grapes that we have done videos on in the past, so you can check that out after this. Bouquet or nose. All right, now we've learned about primary, tertiary, and secondary aromas and aromatic wines. Blend all of that together, and we're talking about the bouquet. That's right. The bouquet or nose of a wine is simply the combination of all the different aromas that you can notice in a wine: floral, fruity, and fragrant. 3 common generalized bouquet descriptors are fruity, floral, and fragrant. Usually, a bouquet is defined as such when the majority of aromas come from one subset of aromas. So while the first 2 are obvious, flowers for floral and fruits for fruity, the last might not be. Fragrant is often used to refer to a certain subset of secondary aromas, like bread, yeast, and pastries. These are aromas most often found in wines with extended lee contact, like a traditional method wine. Spicy. When used in wine tasting, spicy does not refer to a hot chili pepper-like sensation. Instead, it describes the aromas and flavors that will resemble baking or cooking spices, such as cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, nutmeg, cloves. These are typically tertiary aromas that develop during the aging process. However, there are certain types of grape varieties that are more prone to producing these spicy notes as a primary aroma. Think like the Rotundone of Schioppettino that produces a peppery sensation. Spicy is our first word that can be used in both the aroma and flavor spheres, or for the nose and the palate. Complex. A wine's complexity is evaluated based on the number and variety of aromas and flavors that it presents in the glass. A complex wine will reveal multiple layers of taste and scent, with new elements emerging with each sip or sniff. A complex wine is going to have multiple descriptors across the primary, secondary, and tertiary categories, and this will be experienced on both the nose and the palate. Intensity. This is the measure of a wine's power and impact on the nose and the palate. Intense wines have strong aromas that can be detected even easily. Basically, how hard do you have to sniff to notice these aromas? When you taste, these wines fill your mouth with powerful and flavorful experiences. There's a pretty good correlation between intensity and finish and persistence that we talked about in our previous video. The more intense a wine, the more likely, though not always, it is to have a long finish. An intense wine will leave a lasting impression on your nose, palate, and memory. And there you have it, some of our favorite wine tasting terms. If you're interested in learning more, head over to verovino.com to check out the blog article and our previous videos in this series that I've linked below. And that'll give you more information about wine tasting and wine words. In the blog on the website, we cover terms from both videos, and you can also find links to the specific wines for purchase in the Vero shop that help to really portray well each term. Thanks for joining me today. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments below if there are any other wine terms you want to have defined. In the meantime, you can check out part 1 of this series here for more wine definitions. I'll see you there. Bye.